making the show as popular as it is, and for our warm welcome that you've extended to us. Now, let me show you what a Q&A session looks like. If I don't have people lined up over here behind me, see, messing up already. Why don't we have people lined up over here behind this microphone, asking questions, interacting? This is what a Q&A session looks like. So get off your butts, go stand behind that microphone, and ask me something, anything. This is all about Stephen Williams. It's all about Supernatural. It's all about the X-Files. It's all about Jump Street. It's all about anything you want it to be about. Yesterday was really, really hard. It was really, really kind of hard because this is about an interaction kind of thing. And Jim did great, didn't he? Jim was cool because he's got all that information about the show. I only joined the show in this 5th season. So most of you guys probably know more about the show than I do. But I'm going to need some interaction. You guys paid, from what I understand, you paid good money to come and interact with us. So let's interact, guys. Somebody hit me with something. Yes, go.
Will you watch the new 21 Jump Street movie?
No, I heard that it's hilarious, number one. But it's not 21 Jump Street. You know, they must have bought the title or something. But I hear it's funny. But our show was a socially conscious show. I mean, we won presidential awards for that show. You know, the abuse hotlines and the rape hotlines and the teen suicide hotlines, and everything would go off the charts after one of our episodes. Most of the stories were taken straight out of the news, you know. And I cannot wait. Actually, I heard Johnny did a cameo, Holly did a cameo, one of the DeLuises did a cameo. They did not ask me to do a cameo, and I think that Captain Fuller was the glue that held that cast together, you know, in terms of just theatrical terms. So I think they're all assholes for not asking me to appear in the show. And I cannot wait until I am on camera with a microphone in my hand, because the shit I'm going to say is going to give me some publicity, and there's no such thing as bad publicity. So no, I have not seen it yet. I will probably see it when it comes to cable, because if I'm not in it, I really don't go see anything. I'm already mad about not being in it, whatever it is, and they're not going to get my $9.50 or $10.50 or whatever it costs to go to a movie. Have you seen it?
No, I will not.
You will not?
No.
Oh, go on and see it. I hear it's funny. I mean, they tell me it's funny, you know, in the vein of, I think, Bridesmaid and The Hangover, and, you know, that's the genre now. That's the over-the-top, sort of super-blown kind of thing. But the first trailer I saw for the damn show was this guy pushing a woman. See that trailer? With, I think it's, what's his name, Jonah Hill's character? Jonah Hill's character pushing some woman into a bunch of groceries, which, again, is not Jump Street, so.
Yeah, I agree. That is the reason why I will not watch it.
Oh, but you might enjoy it. You might enjoy it. I don't begrudge them anything. An actor who's got some work, you know, go see him, support him. I mean, you may be a Jonah Hill fan or a, what is it, Tatum Channing? Tatum Channing fan, you know. Don't deprive yourself just because of it.
Maybe when it's on TV.
When it comes to TV?
Maybe.
Cool, call me up. I'll bring the popcorn. All right? Thank you. Come on, I don't see a whole bunch of people here. Yes.
Hi, I was wondering, do you watch Supernatural?
Yes.
Did you watch it before you were on, or now that you're
No, I did not.
anymore?
Go. Finish the question. Go on. Finish the question.
Do you watch it even now that you're not, well, right now not member of the cast? And if you do you have any special favorite episode?
I did not know, the first part of the question I think was that I watched the show before it was on. I did not even know it was on. I mean, I was not aware of the show. I've got a good friend of mine at home who was a big sci-fi, you know, genre kind of fan, and he was the one who knew about X-Files before I appeared in it. And when he told me that, he said, man, you might go to a hot show. And then when I told him that I auditioned for, actually I did not audition for this show. Kim Matters, who was one of the producers, Kim directed me in my debut episode of a show called Black Jack Savage. In my debut episode of 21 Jump Street, he directed me in my final episode of X-Files, and he was the one who requested me for Supernatural. But when I told my buddy that I was going to go on this show, he was more excited than I was because I didn't know the show at all. So I did not watch it beforehand. But once I started the show, of course, I watch it. I have to watch it now just to keep up with the storyline. So if they do bring me back, you know, I've got an idea about what's going on. And what's cool about this right now for me is after they killed, you know, after Bobby, the son of a bitch, stabbed me, they're now using Rufus's cabin as their headquarters because Bobby's cabin was blown up. So yeah, I gotta watch the show so that I can know things like that, you know? And the fact that they're using Rufus's cabin now indicates that there's a chance that they'll bring Rufus out of the grave. Now I have appeared in the show since I've been stabbed, you know, with Bobby's in his country. So, you know, nobody's ever dead in Supernatural until they burn salt and burn your bones. You know? Which is why I asked you guys to do me that favor about that campaign. What the hell happened in Omaha? You know, Twitter, send messages, emails, whatever, because they haven't told that story yet. Why Bobby and why I was so upset with Bobby, you know, about that, whatever that Omaha incident is. So I'm hoping that the writers have a wonderful script for me to tell you guys what happened in Omaha, and another wonderful script to bring me the hell up out of that grave, and make my audience go happy again.
Any favorite episodes?
My favorite episodes were the ones I was in. I really didn't know there was an episode called, I actually wanted to write a letter myself, Swap Meet. And that's the show where the guy jumps in his Jared's body and all that. I really liked that show. I thought that was awfully creative. You know, and since I've been watching the show, it's a great show. I mean, it's a great show. And it deals with stuff that I kind of believe in. You know, I mean, we don't know what's out there or what our existence is about, whether there is demons. So yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan just like you guys are.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi. We wanted to know if you could, what kind of advice you could give someone who wants to get into the acting business.
Get a degree, get a doctorate, become a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, a nurse, anything but this. Now you can ask a million actors and you will get a million different answers to that question. Johnny and I, for instance, Johnny was a musician. Johnny Depp is one of our biggest actors now, our biggest moneymakers, a good actor. But he was a musician who came into it because he knew Nicolas Cage. Me, it was dropped in my lap. I was selling clothing in Chicago and somebody said, you look like a model, can you be a model? And I started modeling. And that sort of snowballed into me doing stage work, and that snowballed into me doing film work. So there are many, many different ways, you know, and I don't think you can teach anyone to act. What I believe is that you can train your tooth. You learn to dance, you learn to sing, you learn to use your voice. But acting comes from within. I mean, it's like I use Miles Davis. You guys jazz fans? You know who Miles Davis is? The trumpeter Miles Davis? Okay, a trumpet has 3 valves on it. Once you master those 3 valves, you're a trumpet player. So what makes Miles Davis better than the other trumpet players? It's what comes from in here. You know, it's the passion with which he delivers his music, the passion with which he plays that trumpet. And to me, that's what acting is about. You know, and if it's not on the page, it won't be on the stage. I mean, an actor has to connect with what the writer has written. An actor's, it's about intent. Everybody in here, when you want to do something, you want to go borrow $5 from Susie. You want to beat up Johnny. You want to make love to Timmy. There's something that happens in your eyes when you have that intent. The intent to do something, to discipline your child, da-da-da-da. There's a thing, when we think a thought, it happens in our eyes. You can see it. It's like they say the eyes are the window of the soul. And all good acting is to have that intent, and if the camera's in the right place, it picks it up every time, you know. But train you too. You know, and I've had young people ask me that question, high school students, grammar school students, reading. Now, no, this is beyond, you know, we're way past that. But reading, read as much as you can, because that's what we connect to as actors first. We connect to the words on that page. So become an excellent reader. You know, get that education, get something to fall back on. And as long as you've got passion about anything, you'll wake up one morning and you will find yourself doing it. People won't have to give you advice about how to do anything. If you've got passion, you've got the main tool that you need. I'm sure that all of you probably will a great deal of passion about something, and you do. You know, you find a way to do it. You know, just be passionate about life, because that's all. Basically, that's what acting is. It's a repetition of some form of life, something that's happened in life. You know? So go for it. If you got the passion, just go for it. You'll wake up one day and smell the street.
Thank you. Thank you.
See, I'm a writer. The characters I invent, they get some life of their own for me. So I wondered if it's the same for an actor with the characters he's playing.
Yeah, it's experience life. That's another piece of the formula. Experiencing life. The more experiences you have in life, the more you can give back in front of that camera. You know, watch things, talk things, communicate. I mean, this is why I was bragging a little bit about communication, about this interaction thing that I want to have with you guys. That's part of what acting is about having some experiences in life that you can give back. You've been sad, you've been happy, you've been angry. If that happens on that page and you have to give that back on camera, then you've got that experience inside you. Those experiences that you do not have inside you, read about them, watch TV, and listen to your friends. You know, this communication thing too. You guys have got to, I think, and this is a whole different generation from my generation. I'm a real old guy compared to just about everybody in this room. But I keep thinking you guys are losing the ability to communicate. To link each other, because you're twittering and you're texting and shit, and you can't really tell what a person means when you're texting them a message. But when they're saying the words to you and looking you in the face, you can feel what their intent is. You know, so communication, and just live life. Live as full of a life as you possibly can. Enjoy this journey, because it's all about this journey. You know, we all think that life is about reaching for goals and money and financial gain and becoming successful and all that shit. No, life is just about enjoying the journey, truly enjoy the journey, and being present. Being absolutely present at all times. You know, have you been in a room with somebody that they ask you a question, and you answer the question, and 15 minutes later they'll ask you the same question again? Because they weren't present when you answered them the first time. You know, pay attention to every nanosecond of your life, because it is kind of short. I'm learning that as I get older. This gets shorter and shorter.
The first question, it was no real answer for me, because you're just talking about the real persons, but the persons that I invented. I mean, Rufus is no real person, but when you're playing such a guy, does he get a kind of a life, a character, just an invented character?
Does Rufus get the character?
No, you see, when I write, when I invent a person, I mean, the persons I write about, they do not really exist. Yeah, I invent this person, but by writing about it, I give some life to this character I'm inventing. I mean, it's no real person still, but it's some. For me, it's some interaction also with the person I invent. It's coming something back, but I don't know if this
I tend to think that the people you write about are. It is a real person. It's you putting it down on the page from your imagination, but it is a real person. Somewhere, that person does exist. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's in your head, somewhere, that same person in your head, there's a person somewhere that has done all of those things that you've written about, that has felt all of those things that you are feeling. Everything is everything, guys. There's nothing new under the sun. It's all here. It's all here. We just have to access it. You know, you access it through your writing. I access it through my interpretation of your writing. And the one thing I like to do is, if I can get to the writer and ask you directly, what was your intent when you wrote this line? Once I know the writer's intent, because a successful project, I think, depends on everybody being on the same page, right? And if I'm interpreting something a different way than you intended it when you wrote it, it's not happening. So the whole team has to be on the same page. The writer, the actor, the producer, the director. We all have to be telling the same story. The director is the one who tells us how he wants us to tell that story. But it's got to be the story that you lay out. You know, I can't go act something that you didn't intend. You know, if you say to somebody, if you write down, Jenny, I love you. And you meant it as, Jenny, I really do love you. Or you meant it as, bitch, I love you. You know, I've got to know that so that when I give it back on camera, I'm giving back the same intent that you wrote. It's that collaboration. Everybody thinks that acting, a lot of people think anyway, that acting, you give so much credit to the actor, you know, and he's not, or she is not necessarily the one that brings it. It's got to be that team effort, you know, right down to the guy who lights it. You know, sometimes a scene is, because movies particularly were originally without words. So you need to tell that story in a picture sometimes. And sometimes it's just about the way your face is lit, you know, or the way an arm or a leg is lit, or a body attitude that tells a story. I've had cops, for instance, and here's an example for me. You get stopped by a cop, you know, and there's some sort of aggressive confrontation going on, and you take a stance. And I've had cops say to me, hey, don't square off on me, Jack. Don't square off on me, because it's an aggressive stance, like I'm about to attack you. So all of that comes into play, and it's read by the other person you're communicating with, you know? So it's a team, so your lighting man, your dolly grip, everybody becomes a part of telling that story. Michael Mann, there's an old show called Miami Vice. Michael Mann was famous for making everything in that frame relevant to what was going on in the scene. He would have shit like, if somebody was talking about, well, I got to take a flight to New York tomorrow, I'm going to get on this plane and blah, 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 and Michael would have maybe a bird flying in the background, you know? Everything in that frame should relate to that story somehow. That's good directing. That's good, you know, movie making. There's so many elements that go into it, and it starts with your writing. If I can communicate with you, writer to actor, then I've got a head start on what I need to do in front of that camera. Thank you. Yes?
I've got a personal question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years? Yeah. I just want to be alive, girlfriend. I just want to be alive. I really don't, philosophically, we don't, in my opinion, we don't really know anything about life, where we're going, what's next. I like to live in the moment. You got to plan. You got to maybe plan for your retirement and, you know, make sure your mortgage is paid, your light bill is paid, those basic things. But I'm just basically looking to get up and breathe every day and move under my own power, you know, and just live each moment to the fullest. Now, I come by some of my attitudes because, again, I'm older. Young people, a 15-year-old, has got a totally different attitude about life than a 70-year-old. Because we've had so many experiences and we've got an idea about what's going to happen in certain situations. You guys have no idea, 15-year-old has no idea about what's going to happen in certain situations. And humans are uniquely stupid. So you can tell them son of a bitch, don't put your hand in that fire, it's going to burn you. But each of us will put our hands in that fire any damn way, you know, and get burned. Now we've got that experience. Now we know for sure, you know, because what you're being told, I said this to somebody, it's a little risky, but the sum total, in my opinion, sum total of your life is you pop out of a vagina and a bunch of strangers start telling you shit. Think about it. We don't know nothing, but we've got to filter what we are told. You got to figure out what's good for you, what works for you. At my house, I'm an analog kind of guy. I said yesterday, I don't do computers and stuff. You know, people come in my house and I've got like boom boxes. I still got boom boxes instead of flat screens. I got old televisions. You know, I still have cassettes that I listen to. And people come in, Stephen, why don't you get, you know, a flat screen? Why don't you get the CD? Why don't you get something else? I don't require it. We all require something different. And I say, if you don't have it and you're still alive, you don't really need it, you just want it. Think about that. I directed the final episode of Jump Street, so I'm thinking about directing down the line. I'm also thinking about doing some writing. I've had shit happen at my house over the last 10 years that should be written about. It could be a TV series, you know. So there are a lot of things that I still think I want to do and still might do, but I'm going to take it a day at a time. I've reached a stage in my life where, like I said, getting up and breathing and moving into my own power is what's important to me. And I have, you know, a couple kids and 5 grandchildren, so I need to start getting close to them. But somebody's got to change my diapers when I get to be 90. So I want to make them all love me. We want them to love Grandpa, you know. Don't put Grandpa in that home. Just let him stay in the extra bedroom over there. He'll be okay. You know. Just live. Live. Be where you are tomorrow. And dig this, understand that wherever you are, you have to be there in order to get to the next step. Okay? So you've got your druggies, your blah, and they say, you shouldn't be doing that. No, whatever you're doing, I believe it is absolutely essential that you be doing it. Whether it's considered positive or negative, it's essential that you are doing that because that's what's going to take you to the next step. They're like, man, he's all philosophical and shit. We just wanted to know about the show. Come on.
What was your favorite scene between Rufus and Bobby?
Between Rufus and Bobby?
Yes.
I think my favorite scene, it wouldn't let me do. Now, do you remember the episode where, which one was this? What was the title of this? Where I show up with this dead body? With the demon and knock on his door and say, yo, you gotta help me bury body.
Weekend at
Right?
Bobby's.
Was that, yeah, Weekend at Bobby's, right? That one?
Yes.
Well, you guys know who Whitney Houston is, yes? Singer. And do you remember the reality show with her and her husband, Bobby Brown? Well, one of the famous, I don't know if you get it, but the famous, how Whitney used to scream all the time, Bobby! Hey, Bobby! That was the scene I wanted to do when I showed up at his door. We did a couple of takes, they didn't print it. But we did a couple of takes while I knocked on his door. Bobby! Because Americans get it because they're so familiar with Whitney and Bobby Brown. All of my scenes have been fun with him. And it's that grumpy old man thing that we were supposed to do when we go out to bury the body. You know, we start talking about I can make a few calls, and he says, I didn't ask you to make a few calls. I said, I didn't ask you for permission. You know, those kind of things I really love between us. I really love, you know.
I also do.
Say again?
I also do.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm getting the feeling that I'm not so much, because Jim is so good at being the grumpy old man. I didn't want to step on that. I'd rather be that needling guy. You know, that guy who's kind of happy-go-lucky, but he's always fucking with Bobby. So this whole thing has been an absolute joy to me. I'm I like to say that since I started acting, I have not worked a day in my life. I go to a set and I have a great time. I put on a costume and say stuff and pretend to be stuff and they pay me for it. I get to come on trips like this, you know. Don't ever let anybody tell you that acting is hard. This is an easy fucking gig. It is, if you enjoy it. Again, that passion thing. You know, I enjoy this. Of course, we pull long hours and all that stuff. But who does it in life? Literally, whether you're a student, a mom, a dad, you know, you put in your time. But I genuinely enjoy this work. And so everything is my favorite. Okay?
Thank you.
I like to say, I really don't have, I figured out a line, because I think someone's going to always ask you, what's your favorite something? I really have never had a favorite anything. I don't have a favorite color. I don't have a favorite car. I don't have a favorite piece of music. What I have is a preference for things based on whatever incident I'm in. I have preferences, not favorites. I would prefer to drive my Bentley to the Oscars and drive my Jag to the baseball game. You know? That kind of thing.
Okay.
By the way, I do not have a Bentley or a Jag. Let me ask you something. What is can anybody stand and tell me, what's your biggest joy about these functions? About coming to one of these functions, to be with us, to interact with us, to get the pictures and the autographs. What is it? What is it that gives you the joy? What's the thing about this whole process that you really like? My place or yours? Again, my place or yours? Is it anybody else? Anybody else have an answer to that? Your favorite thing? You gotta answer it. Come on, you're here. You're here. You gotta know why you're here. Yes. You get to know the people behind the characters. Now therein lies another danger. I had an incident where, if you remember Jump Street, a friend of mine came down, brought his girlfriend from Vancouver to LA to visit me for 1 week. And she had been a big fan of Jump Street. And we were all out drinking and by the pool and having barbecue and blah, 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 blah. And somebody said something and I said, oh, that motherfucker didn't blah, blah, blah. And she went into shock. She literally went into shock because her whole image of Captain Fuller was not about that word. She could not believe that I said that word. And so I had to explain to her, what you see on TV is what I do. What you see here is who I am. There's a big difference. So, you know, in response to that question, sometimes you can be disillusioned. You know, like you said, you wanted to get to know us as characters, and that's a danger for us because we do have to be careful in certain, you know, environments because we know we can disillusion people about who we are. You know, how many times you hear stories about somebody walking up to some soap opera star who plays a doctor and asking him for medical advice? I mean, people do get caught up in that sort of thing. So that's a cool thing in the back of our heads. It says, be a little careful about how you interact with everybody because, you know, you don't want to disillusion them about who you are as a person. I'm not really ever afraid of that because I'm sort of who I am. And I think I'm a good guy with a good heart and a good spirit. So. And what do you do with the pictures and things? What do you do with those? Are they hanging on your walls? Are they, do you ever trade them on the internet? No. Somebody's lying. If you do, I want my cut, okay? Send me my cut. We find you guys awfully fascinating too, because I have witnessed, and we talk about this a lot, the talent, the creativity that a lot of you have is absolutely mind-boggling, astonishing, wonderful. I mean, you guys have shown up with paintings and renderings and sculptures and stuff that displays your talent in a most wonderful way. I mean, people come in with entire popsicle toothpick things, elaborate of some scene in the set, costumes, you know. There's a lot of talent of yours that we get to see when you come and present us with, a lot of pictures and stuff. You guys have. Somebody else.
Blues Brothers!
Blues Brothers! Anybody familiar with Blues Brothers? The movie? The original movie?
Yeah.
One of the most wonderful times in my life. I think it was only the second movie I'd ever done. Right? I was booked for a 2-week engagement. So I was just working the damn thing. Ended up working 6 months on this movie. It was the movie that took me to Hollywood. It was so star-studded. All the stars that were in it, Aretha and John Belushi and James Brown and Carrie Fisher, the model, and all of these people who were visited by stars as big as themselves. I said, hang on, man, I'm still answering. Who were visited, and then the whole that thought, whatever it was, but who were visited by the stars on the set. So it was a very, very exciting time for me as a new guy in the business. Plus I lived, at that time, I lived 2 blocks from Second City. So I knew John Belushi, Jim Belushi, and yes, go on, I'm doing that. Yes! Who's the guy that yelled out?
Were there drugs?
Say what?
Were there drugs?
What about drugs?
Were there drugs on the set?
Like you would not believe. Like you would not believe. And good drugs. We shot Blues Brothers in what year was that? 75, 80 something?
78.
78? Good drugs. The original MDA, what you now call ecstasy. Real cocaine. Wonderful breaks. You name it, it was there. None of you guys know what drugs are. I truly believe at home I got young people who do drugs and tell me about this drug is good, that drug is good. If you're not over 60 years old, you have no fucking idea what a good drug is. You've been getting garbage. So yeah, that was our generation. That was our generation. We had lots of good drugs. Matter of fact, I'm on a couple of them now. Some I saved from them. What was it the young lady yelled out? Who yelled out something else? The young
Princess
lady?
Leia, Carrie Fisher, tell stories about Carrie.
Say what again?
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher?
Princess Leia.
Who the hell is this? No, seriously, because I had an experience with Carrie Fisher. I did. She came to set one day. She wasn't working that day. She just came to set to visit that day, and she was tripping. She was on acid when she came to set to visit. And we were attracted to each other. And her bodyguard spent the whole day keeping us apart. Yeah, so Carrie was, everybody was out there at one point, except Dan. Dan, truly, not to tell stories out of school, and John rest his soul. But Dan, these people, Dan did not do drugs, act like. I never saw him do a drug, and has no reputation for doing drugs, But these were people who worked hard and played hard. And like I said, it was the time. It was the time. And it was also, you heard of the House of Blues? That's where the idea was incepted, was in Chicago during the filming of the Blues Brothers. The cast was so popular and all their friends, and everybody was such a star, that they could not go out to regular clubs at the end of the day and party without being, mobbed by people. So what John and Dan did was they rented a bar where the cast and crew could hang out after work every day. And it became very, very popular. We could bring guests and friends. It became so popular that they decided they'd make it a business. And that's how the original blues, House of Blues, the idea came from. And so they created one in Chicago, they didn't last for a while. And then they went out to LA and created one. I think there's one in New Orleans or someplace. So yeah, just lots and lots of fun. Lots of fun. Some of the best times of my life. Particularly being a young black kid from the ghetto, from the projects in Chicago. All that was very, very new for me and very exciting, And one of the most exciting things about this business for me is, coming from where I come from, is like being here. The opportunity to travel. I've traveled the world just because I've been sent on location you know, to shoot some movie. Things that I would not have gotten an opportunity to do or would not have done on my own had, you know, had it not been for acting. So it's fun. This whole cultural thing has just been fun for me. Fun for me. You know? And I get to pass on some things to the young quote-unquote ghetto brothers and sisters about the cultures that I've witnessed and the experiences that I've had and behavior. I'm getting to tell them, hey, when you go such and such a place, don't behave like such and such. Be an ambassador. Be an ambassador. You know, so it's been fun. Yes. Yell it out. Anything.
Sing for us.
Okay, anything but that. That's gonna cost you.
Dance for us!
That will cost you, and I don't dance. Oh, I can boogie. I can. In Chicago, we have something called the Joseph Jefferson Awards, which is equivalent to like the Tonys in New York, the stage plays. And I've done a lot of stage plays. And I was nominated 3 times for musicals that I did, because I do sing. But I can't dance. So to be nominated as, you know, best actor in a musical and not have the dance abilities, and what the choreographer would always have to do is we'd have to work out a scene where my character sprained his ankle. So I had to go sit down for some reason. When the big dance number came up, they'd always have to create a scene for me that allowed me to step out of the dance scene, you know? Because I'm a free-form dancer. You know, I can boogie my ass off, but I can't do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dancing and singing. But I do love to, that's going to be that young lady asked, where do I see myself in 10 years? That's the thing that I genuinely want to do. I sounded like, they tell me, Johnny Mathis until I was 16 and then the voice changed, but I still have a great voice. It's a good voice. I don't, and there's a difference between having a good voice and being a singer. There's a big difference. But I do have a little dream, a little fantasy of one day perfecting my singing act, and because I love that life.
I dare you to
Hey,
say,
man, I'm talking to you.
this is the Lord, we dare you to sing. We command you to sing. I dare you to sing, carry on my wayward son. It is the will of Skywalker that you sing,
Here's another
carry
problem. I really
on
don't know
my
the lyrics.
wayward son.
I really don't know the lyrics. They didn't
Bunch of white guys from Kansas, come on.
I'm a sing-along guy. Come on, Jim. You want to do that? Spirit.
That was kind of cool. For my left ear.
First question, why are you here? Do you think I was dying up here that badly?
No, I just wanted to fuck
He
with
has
it.
just come to rescue me.
No, I couldn't get the hook because he's so good at being done. He said, you know, I thought I'd give Doug a brag and I'd be the one to end it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. There's our times up. He goes, why don't you go drag him off the stage? I said, why? No. That's right. But, no, it is actually time. I'm so glad we had this time together just to sing a song. Carry on my wayward son. Lay your weary to rest. Carry on my wayward son. Carry on my wayward son. There will be peace. There will be peace when you are done.
Will there be peace when I'm done? Will everybody be happy when I'm done?
You will lay your leery, was it leery? Lay your weary head to rest, and don't you cry no fucking more. You ready to try from the top? Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Like now. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.